Hello everyone, welcome to the Hack.com weekly webinar series. My name is Sam Borgi, Chief Editor at Hacked. We hope that you've all had a very productive week in the market. It was a very active week for cryptocurrencies, very active week for stocks, even an active week for the commodity markets. We saw a lot of news items, a lot of market moving events as investors get all riled up for the expected institutional rush toward cryptocurrencies. We know that today we saw official approval of the Bitcoin futures that are forthcoming from CME as well as CBOE. So investors are very optimistic that Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies in general, will continue higher. And we certainly saw that reflected in price action this week, not just of Bitcoin, but of the altcoin competitors as well. As you'll see in the next few moments, Ethereum also had a big week up until Wednesday. It then lost some of its momentum toward the end of the week. Having said that, great to have you join us today. Again, my name is Sam, Chief Editor. I'm sure you all see me on the website, on Workplace. Any questions at all? I'm pretty easy to reach, sam@hack.com, although sometimes the emails do get a little overwhelming. So if I haven't responded in a little while, please be patient. I will get to you, or simply send me a follow-up, and I'd appreciate that so that I can attend to your questions as they arise. On that basis, this webinar series is just intended to give you the rundown on the market. We want to give you a little bit more value in how you used Hack.com. That's why I did go out and get a microphone that hopefully is much clearer today. You can tell by my voice is a lot clearer. We want to give you an overview of the week that was in the market, give you a rundown on the global cryptocurrency market from a broad perspective. We then want to give you a recap of what we did on the site this week, some of the articles that we released, and what were the most noteworthy articles from a viewership perspective. We're then going to draw your attention to 5 events or 5 items or 5 themes that could impact the market next week, which is the first month of December. Of course, we're going to begin with Bitcoin again, not because we're obsessed with Bitcoin, but because Bitcoin has been really, really active for quite a while now. We saw price levels breach 11,000 this week on multiple occasions. This chart here that you see is actually courtesy of Bar Chart. It implies that Bitcoin didn't reach 11,000 on Wednesday, but it did. I was there tracking it all along. We saw highs well above 11,300 on the major exchanges on Wednesday. Huge correction on Thursday, but we're right back to where we were about 48 hours ago now, based on the last time I checked the chart, which was about an hour ago. So 5-day performance, we saw a gain of $1,100 plus for Bitcoin. Again, massive gains in the BTC market. We saw a large correction followed by renewed buying interest. We are now at a market cap of around $187 billion. Absolutely astronomical. Bitcoin has added, hundreds of billions of dollars to its market cap this year. And this chart demonstrates what we've seen over the past month. We saw that dip here around November the 11th, 12th, as the SegWit 2x protocol was eventually canceled. But overall, the market has been trending higher and higher as people are more than willing and more than happy to buy the dips. Of course, Ethereum is the world's number 2 cryptocurrency by market cap. It is the favorite of the ICO issuers. I mean, I've covered so many ICOs now, and the vast majority of them are based on the ERC protocol. We saw highs of just above $500, again, depending on who you ask. I think I saw some price levels closer to 510. Bitcoin hit new highs. Ethereum hit new highs this week, again, followed by a large correction all the way back down to 400. We were last seeing Ether trading around 460 to 470, relatively unchanged for the week, but nevertheless, that very, very important 500 level has been breached. A lot of you who've been following Ether will realize that we were in a mediocre range for quite a while. Prices weren't going much higher than the $300 range. We've broken past that in recent weeks. Ether is up about 63% over the past month. There's a lot of demand drivers for cryptocurrency so far this year. Of course, trade volumes are surging. We're seeing Bitcoin trade volumes approaching $7 billion over the past 24 hours. We're seeing action really all over the world, but of course, South Korea is really picking up the slack, especially in the altcoin market. Bitcoin, in terms of trade volumes, Bitcoin continues to account for roughly half of all turnover in the market based on the charts that I'm seeing. Another demand driver, of course, that we're paying close attention to and that we covered on Hack this week is the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is joining the institutional push for Bitcoin futures. We now have CME Group, we have CBOE, and we also have NASDAQ. Although NASDAQ is promising to assess many more data points in pricing their Bitcoin futures. And they're going to be, I think, looking at over 50 data points in order to get the price, whereas the other futures contracts are going to be looking at only 1 or 4. So that's the one advantage that NASDAQ is purporting to give. Keep your eye out on what NASDAQ is doing when it comes to Bitcoin futures. Of course, investor sentiment continues to be strongly bullish in favor of Bitcoin. We are seeing this across from everything from major investors to even celebrities to, of course, a lot of the retail traders and day traders and people like us who simply are crypto enthusiasts and want to invest. I think there is strong concern of overvaluation in the market. How can you not be concerned about that? But there seems to be a general view that this thing still has a way to go before we get any major correction. Again, people need to bear in mind that yes, Bitcoin does seem to have the inkling or the characteristics of being overbought or being overzealous. But you have to keep in mind that it's been the best performing currency in 6 of the last 7 years, and that's not counting this year. So Bitcoin has seen demand rise steadily over its history. Of course, it was plagued by a lot of the the dark web activity and the black market activity. But what we've seen over the past 12 months or so is that it is not necessarily tied to those elements. And with the arrival of institutional trading in Bitcoin, legitimacy for the crypto is only going to rise moving forward. The altcoin universe is also gaining traction. We now have 16 cryptocurrencies valued at $1 billion or more. I call it the $1 billion club. 13 are worth $2 billion or more. There's many. You go to CryptoCoin or cryptomarketcap.com and you get to see what those are. We also like to touch upon stocks. As you're all aware, we do give plenty of stock recommendations throughout the week. We want to deal primarily with financial services, of course. Our focus mostly has been on the cryptocurrency space, but we do like to give you insights into the stock market. Stocks in the U.S. rose to record highs this week. Thursday was a huge day. The Dow added over 300 points, closing above 24,000 for the first time ever. The chart here demonstrates actually the S&P 500, which also hit record highs. We finished slightly lower on Friday as political turmoil surrounding the Trump administration hit the fan. As you all know, Flynn, former top advisor for Trump, pleaded guilty to essentially contacting or lying to the FBI about his interaction with the Russians. So the Russian situation continues to plague the Trump administration nearly a year after it entered office. Globally, Europe finished sharply lower on Friday. Tech stocks were volatile this week, and the volatility surrounding the Flynn investigation also tended to hit European stocks. China's downtrend also continued. Moving forward, traders are expecting, or they can expect to see, the so-called Santa Claus rally, the seasonal rally in stocks. The closer we get to the holiday season, the more you're going to see stocks open up some holiday cheer and trade to the upside. Again, that's based on the historical analysis of what we've seen in the stock market. The global cryptocurrency market is thus, we spiked toward $350 billion earlier this week. I mean, what are you going to say about this, right? I mean, it's just absolutely massive how fast this thing has grown. We're watching something truly astounding enter the fold. Too bad living in Canada, Coinbase has made it very hard for me to purchase. They're giving me very, very, very low weekly limits, so not happy about that. But overall, the market is trajecting higher. We saw that correction on Thursday, but again, buy the dips. That's what they're doing. That's what traders are doing. And now we're at around $325 billion in market cap. Astronomical gains across the board. And you see the volumes there really picking up around November the 30th. Really picking up. So again, very active market. We expect that to continue. A recap of hack.com. We covered 7 ICOs this week. We, of course, endeavor to continue covering initial coin offerings on a regular basis. We are continuing on with trade recommendations. We're much more active on trade recommendations. I know a lot of you are asking whether or not you can get notifications. If you have a mobile phone, simply visit hack.com, log in with your mobile device, and enable push notifications. That way you'll get access to them on your phone, on your screen as they happen. The most read articles this week, the XRP article I posted, I think today, today being, I think, around 2 a.m. on December the 1st, has gotten huge traction. So it's nice to see that a lot of you are interested in XRP and Ripple. I know Ripple has been posited as one of the most promising cryptocurrencies, especially from a institutional perspective. We saw huge foot traffic to the Ripple article that was posted today. Trade recommendations, we are issuing many more of those. Ethereum, the November 27th trade recommendation, got a lot of traction. Another article that I think released a couple days ago, Litecoin approaches record high as investment appeal grows. Litecoin is always popular on hack.com. That was also there. And again, more trade recommendations around Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash. I know some of you have recommended that we cover Bitcoin Cash a little bit more regularly. I received an email saying, why do you hate Bitcoin Cash so much? I certainly do not. There's no hatred there toward Bitcoin Cash. It hasn't come up as urgently as a lot of the other topics have. So, but thanks for that. We will cover Bitcoin Cash, hopefully with more regularity, insofar as it's providing market-moving events and market-moving data, and it's relevant to our audience, and it's relevant for price action purposes. So what are we watching, or what you can watch? I mean, Bitcoin is at $11,000. That's really the main thing that people are going to be watching heading into next week. What's next? Are we going to continue higher, or is there going to be a pullback? A lot of the bullish guys out there, the bullish investors, were eyeing $10,000 by year's end. Well, we're well above that level now. So I haven't seen any other numbers really pop out. I know 25,000 is a big number, but that's not an imminent number. So keep your eye on how the market behaves around that $11,000 threshold. It should be very interesting to see. Of course, we are also going to be monitoring, and we recommend that you monitor Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple. A lot of price action happening here. Ethereum hit $500, then it lost momentum. These are the main altcoins today, some of the most popular ones. So we recommend that you check hack.com for the latest recommendations, latest articles on these. I guarantee you we will be releasing a lot more on these three next week and over the weekend. U.S. tax reform is gaining traction officially. There's lots of reports now out of Capitol Hill that they have agreed, at least in principle, the Republicans have, to back a new tax bill that's going to save American taxpayers $1.4 trillion. The corporate tax rate is going to go down from 35% to 20%. There's also going to be a temporary reduction in the income tax rate, so that's going to be to the benefit of most people. And there's still some details to iron out. There's the discrepancies between the Senate bill and the House bill, and they're going to reconcile that hopefully before end of the year. Trump has vowed he wants to get this thing done by Christmas, so let's hope that happens. Let's hope our American friends get their tax relief sooner rather than later. And maybe hopefully it can also spread north of the border here in Canada. Michael Flynn, of course, pleads guilty. We just saw those headlines. FBI investigated him for apparently lying about his interaction with a Russian ambassador to Washington. Essentially, it was about members of Trump's senior staff, or Trump's senior staff essentially compelled Flynn to talk to foreign representatives about a UN Security Council resolution concerning Israel. That was what I've read. And so apparently he lied about his interaction with that ambassador. He's now the former ambassador, actually. And from a data perspective, we always watch economic data. U.S. non-farm payrolls are due next week. That covers it, everyone. I hope that it's been an informative webinar. We hope that you enjoy your weekend, enjoy your week. Catch us again next week. It's going to be another exciting installment of our weekly series, looking up hopefully at another very active week in the market as we approach the home stretch for 2017. Hope you have a great weekend, and catch you later. Take care.